Can Hormuz be secured? That is the question that we'll be looking at this week. It is currently week 3 of the war, and it is mid-March. First, we need to flesh out the question more. What is considered the Strait of Hormuz? There's historical precedent that governs this, and I'm sure the UN Law of the Sea might have a more formal boundary definition, but of concern are the two lanes of navigation that go through the strait, which is relatively shallow. Each of these lanes, there's an ingoing lane and an outgoing lane, each roughly 2 miles wide with a buffer zone in between. That is what we will be considering Hormuz. Of interest is also the regional islands around the area, like the Lesser and Greater Tunb and Keshem and a few other islands that fall within the Oman sphere and mainly the Iranian sphere of influence, although there are territorial disputes. And then we also need to define what secured means. In this case, it seems fair to label it as generally the protection of shipping lanes, which would mean physical protection as well as financial protection from any losses. And in doing this, we'd need to evaluate some of the threats that can be the threats to traffic in the strait. These could be as simple as artillery mounted on bases on the islands nearby. The strait itself is only like 20 miles wide, so that's a fair possibility. It could be military infrastructure, which is located on nearby land or islands. It could be mines that are placed in the strait. We'd need to discuss the different types of mines and the threats they pose. And missiles and other aerial strikes that could hit aircraft and be really launched from anywhere, but mainly from Iran and mainly from bases nearby. And then on top of that, we need to discuss mitigation strategies that the US and really the world could employ and may have historically employed to expedite or protect the flow of traffic through the strait. And in doing so, we'll discuss their viability, how much cost there would be to do it, whether or not maybe speculate on a few likelihoods of certain things happening, but it's hard to say exactly where that discussion flow will go right now. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, or whenever I send the video in.